you for joining me for this book talk. I am Erica Levine, your media specialist. Today's books will feature topics on cancer, religion, mental illness, weight loss, and social media and bullying. So let's get started. Our first book is After Ever After, written by Jordan Sonnenblock, and this book won the 2011 ALA Best Fiction for Young Adult Award. This book tells the story of Jeffrey, an 8th grader who in the past has had some bouts with cancer, but is now looking forward to his 9th grade year in high school. When the school district decides that every 8th grader has to pass a standardized test in order to be promoted to the 9th grade, Jeffrey goes into a panic. He's had struggles with academics in the past, as well as he lacks self-confidence. By the end of this story, he finds out who his true supporters are. This is an excellent read for young adults who would like to learn more about cancer survivors, as well as those young adults who've been affected by family and friends who've been diagnosed with cancer. It's an emotional journey, but it's written in a comedic and light tone, so it leaves the reader feeling more hopeful than in despair. And also, this is a story that examines the influence or the power of having a really good friend. So I recommend that you, if you have the time, read this book because it has so much to offer. Other additional topics in this book include illness, of course, which is one thing I mentioned, friendship, dating, education today is another topic, as well as sometimes efforts for certain causes, and even biking. So again, if you're looking for a book that is well read as well as an emotional ride, then I would recommend you read After Ever After. This second book is entitled Skinny by Donna Cooner. This book actually won the 2014 ALA Best Fiction for Young Adult Awards. Skinny is about a 15-year-old girl named Ever who, since her mother's death, finds comfort in eating. Once Skinny begins to weigh over 300 pounds, she starts to gather a perception of how others feel about her. She feels mistreated by her peers as well as her stepmother and stepsisters. As a result, Skinny decides to have gastric bypass surgery. As the weeks go on and she starts to shed pounds, her self-esteem starts to build, so much so that she feels this new look will allow her to gain popularity and the friends she never had. What she finds out is that as she starts to become more attractive, the enemy is not necessarily who she thought he or she was at the beginning. This book is an excellent read for young adults who really struggle with body image. It tells a journey of someone who has self-discovery through a very traumatic process. And it also allows readers to understand that what's on the inside of a person ultimately affects what's on the outside. So that's one thing that this character had to learn, and another reason why I think Skinny by Donna Cooner would be an excellent read for young adults who struggle with eating disorders, as young adults often do. Our next book is entitled Once I Was Lost by Sarah Czar. This book won the 2012 ALA Best Fiction for Young Adults Award. This is a story about Samara, who's referred to as Sam, a 15-year-old PK or preacher's kid who is fed up with her father's inability to play a pivotal role in her life, as well as her mother, who has just recently been submitted to an alcohol rehab program. Samara is really in a struggle to find her own personal faith in her family as well as God. When a girl from her youth group named Jody is abducted randomly in the town, Samara participates in the search and rescue efforts to find Jody. As the days of the search unfold and people start to lose hope, Samara's faith is challenged as she questions whether or not God's miracles really do happen. This novel focuses on a young adult's perspective on spirituality. Like many young adults, the main character of this book is doubting God because she sees so many negatives in her life. The main character is probably one that many teens can relate to because she challenges the adults in her life in order to find her own truth and her own perspective. This book also is a great read for those who want more information about spirituality or the role that it plays in many people's lives. Other topics covered in this book include friendship, dating, crime, parents, and even gardening. So I suggest you check out Once I Was Lost by Sarah Zarr. Our next book is entitled Twisted by Lori House Anderson. Anderson is also the author of Winter Girls, another great read for young adult readers. Twisted won the 2008 Quick Picks for reluctant young adult readers. This book tells the story of Tyler Miller, a high school senior who was a nobody until his senior year when he painted inappropriate graffiti on his school property. Although his father openly expresses his distrust of Tyler, his new outlaw status has grabbed the attention of Bethany, who is a part of the socially elite in his high school, as well as the daughter of his father's boss. When inappropriate pictures of Bethany hit the web, nearly everyone looks at Tyler, including his father, questioning Tyler's involvement in the crime, leaving Tyler to contemplate the value of his own life. This author, or house, is notorious for writing the internal thoughts of main characters. It's interesting that this particular novel is from the perspective of a male character, because normally she writes from the female perspective. And this may, of course, appeal to male and female young adult readers. The main character is realistic and relatable because he's not perfect and he's made immature mistakes in the past. And the novel also questions what or how you go about recovering from mistakes in order to regain trust. This is a great read for teens that are dealing with trust issues of parents, teachers, and peers. Also, the writing requires the reader to contemplate how others' opinions of themselves affect their own self-esteem. So this is a great story for teens who struggle with parental or parental relationships as well. So I suggest, if you have time, that you check out Twisted by Lori House Anderson, because it's a great read that not only talks about issues with parent-child relationships, but bullying, dating, social media, peer pressure, as well as social groups and suicide. Our final book is entitled Get Well Soon by Julie Hapburn, who is also the author of Into the Wild Nerd Yonder, which is another great read. Get Well Soon actually won the 2008 Quick Picks for reluctant young adult readers. This book tells the story of Anna, a 15-year-old sheltered girl who is thrusted into a mental hospital by her parents after expressing the idea that she wanted to kill herself. Anna, a bit chubby, struggles with self-esteem and finds herself uncertain about how to behave even amongst the inmates in the hospital. As weeks pass by and Anna starts to make some different choices, she is forced to begin to really ponder or ask the question, who is the real Anna Bloom? This book's cover actually reads, who said depression has to be depressing? So that gives you a clue that it is written in a humorous manner, although it's set in a mental hospital. So it has a light comedic tone that perhaps young adult readers will be able to relate to and appreciate. The various characters that Anna encounters at the hospital have various issues that perhaps many young adult readers can relate to. The entire book is written as journal entries by Anna rather than in a more formal, traditional manner. I think it's really appropriate for teenagers who are in the first phases of teenage life, just kind of walking into aspects of what teenagers go through. Based on my experience with reading books by Hepburn, she likes to write stories in a humorous manner, so I would recommend this book to young adult readers who really appreciate a light comedic story, and preferably for those young adult readers that are in 8th, 9th, and 10th grade, because the story is really of a teenager coming into, life as a teenager. So once again, I recommend, if you have time, to check out Get Well Soon by Julie Hepburn, because it covers issues of mental illness, friends, dating, parents, eating disorders, social groups, and depression in a way that is not so depressing. So check it out. Well, that concludes our book talk for today. I want to thank you again for joining me, and I hope that you get an opportunity to read some of these awesome books. Even though I'm an adult, I really enjoy these books written for young adult readers. So once again, I'm Erica Levine, your media specialist, signing off.